Sometimes when people want to know about nutrition or they hear about nutrition in an office, they think, oh, well, they'll give me vitamin E if I want, or they'll, give me vitamin C when I get sick. They think about nutritional supplements that way. In our country, unfortunately, 95% of the supplements, the vitamins, come from labs. That means they're chemically derived. They don't come to us the way that foods come to us. They're like drugs. They're a magic bullet. They've taken one ingredient out of the food and said, this is what the food is. For example, vitamin C. Vitamin C, we think ascorbic acid, right? But ascorbic acid isn't vitamin C. Ascorbic acid is a part of vitamin C. It's as if I took your finger and made a fingerprint and said that was you. That's not you. That's a part of you, but it's not you. With vitamin C, the ascorbic acid is an antioxidant portion of the vitamin C complex. So when you're sick and you're prescribed high doses of vitamin C, what that does is it puts a demand on your body to produce the other cofactors to make the whole vitamin C complex to help make you better. So when you're on synthetically derived vitamins for a long period of time, it causes more health problems than it solves. The supplements I use in my office are naturally derived from food sources. They're from whole food sources, and they are compressed. They compress and extract the whole vitamin, the whole complex. And when you have the whole complex, you don't need mega doses of something to give you the benefit that you need. These things are what our species evolved eating, foods. And these are the kinds of things that help heal our bodies. In our society, the nutrients are not in the food. They used to be there 200 years ago. 100 years ago, we realized that the soil on our planet was very depleted. And what do we do to help deal with that? Well, we put in 3 nutrients: nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. That doesn't help make up the 10,000 micronutrients that are in foods. So what happens is our foods do not have the nutrients in them that they used to. So even if you eat a really good, really balanced, all-organic, mostly vegetable diet, it's still almost impossible to get all the nutrients that you need to help keep your body functioning optimally. When people come in and I find that they have conditions that can be helped by nutrition, usually we're not talking about something that you're going to be taking this nutrition for the rest of your life to help support you, like a drug. We're talking about nutrition that is going to help heal the tissues that have been damaged, that are weak. It's going to help strengthen them. And after a period of time, you don't need to take them anymore. To make you as healthy and happy as you can be, we have to look at your biochemistry. We have to see, are you functioning properly? Is your digestion proper? And many people think if they're eliminating, their digestion is working properly, but that's not the case at all. The elimination is working. But digestion means assimilating and utilizing your nutrients to rebuild your tissues and keep them strong and healthy. So that's one of the things we look at, balancing your biochemistry. Also, in balancing your biochemistry, we look at your hormones. Hormones are messengers that go to different parts of the body and tell them to do things or to stop doing things. And if you've all heard of the endocrine system, which involves all of the glands that produce the hormones. Well, if part of the endocrine system is not working properly, it'll affect the rest of the endocrine system negatively. So we find ways of increasing your endocrine function. If your thyroid is low, there's ways of building up, but we have to look first. We have to do some testing and find out, is the thyroid low because the thyroid's low, or is the thyroid low because the adrenal gland is low? And so now it's not only not being able to do its own job, but it's requiring the thyroid to help. And so besides the thyroid's own job, it's now having to help with the adrenal job. This is a big problem in our society today. Many, many people have low thyroids. And even more with the level of stress we have in our world, many people have low functioning adrenal glands. There's a point where they reach exhaustion and you're tired all the time, or you get sleepy after lunch and you need something to boost you up. You can't sleep at night. Sleep is a terrible problem for many people these days. And if you can't sleep, you can't heal and repair. If you can't heal and repair, you're on that downward slide. Many people think that 75 to 80 is about how long they're going to live. But actually, most biochemists agree that the body is designed to live 125 years. So what's in the way? Well, there's a lot of things in the way. Partly we have our structural problems that affect our nervous system, or neurological problems, whatever their source may have been, that affect the ability of the nervous system to communicate with the body. Nutrition is a huge issue here because we are not getting the nutrients that humans are designed to get. And we're not getting them because America is flooded with synthetic products and products made out of depleted foods, and they supplement them with lab-derived vitamins. You know, most of the B vitamins used in this country, and when they say food is fortified that they put in, comes from coal tar. Does that sound nice? Does that sound like the kind of thing your body needs to make it strong and healthy? Not really. Detoxification is a big issue in our world. It's a very toxic world we're living in. 100 years ago, this was not the problem. Before, say, 200 years ago, when there weren't industrialized countries, there was there was some natural toxins in the environment. There were heavy metals, there were poisons, but not to the level they are now. Since World War II, the amount of chemicals we come into contact with every week has increased to about 82,000. We're beginning to see more degenerative diseases, things like chronic fatigue syndrome, multiple chemical sensitivities. These are what they call the canaries in the coal mine. They used to put canaries in coal mines so that when the invisible gases would reach a high level, the canaries would die and they would know to get out of there. Well, these are our canaries. They're beginning to show up with all sorts of degenerative diseases that didn't used to occur, or certainly not to the extent that they do now. And we need to fight against this. We can either take it all in or we can fight back. And the way to fight back is to eat organic foods, to not take drugs, prescription or otherwise, to exercise, to have a clean mind and a good attitude, and to detoxify. There's a lot of ways to detoxify, and I try to find ways for each individual that work best for them and their body. But you have to pull some of these toxins out, or they just sit in your tissues and contribute to disease processes. So when people have heart attacks or develop Alzheimer's, it's not something that happened instantly. It's something that built up over time from the way we live our life. And the foods that we eat in this country, I'm sure you've all heard the acronym SAD for the Standard American Diet, and it is really sad. It's sad for many reasons. First of all, because our commercial lands are so depleted that they do the farming on, and they add so little nutrients, so that there's just not the nutrients in the food. And then it only adds 3 major nutrients to it. And before we put the seeds in the soil, we genetically modify them, so it's not even something our body recognizes well, and it's putting bacteria into all our human bodies that were never there before on a large scale. And then what do we do after we pick them? We pick them unripe and send them to the market. So they haven't developed the nutrients that they have a potential to develop with our depleted soil to start with, and then we tinker. We send them to food labs, and what do? Well, they bleach them so there'll be a color that you like. They add chemicals so they'll last long on the grocery shelves. They do procedures and processes to them to make them void of nutrients and full of high caloric substances that affect your body negatively. They fill them with sugar, fats, and salts, and what do we end up with? A bunch of people who aren't too healthy because their intake is of terrible things, and we market them like crazy. I believe it was in the 70s when they came out with New Coke. You know the new thing they did to it? They added salt, so you would be thirstier and drink more, and then more sugar, so it would cover up the taste of the salt. And this was New Coke. This is how our manufacturing takes care of us as people. So it's up to you to take care of yourself as a person. It's up to you to take care of your health and to know what's in the products you buy. People are more and more becoming involved in reading labels. And when you go into a restaurant and you see that calorie content and suddenly you shift what you're ordering, you're doing the right thing for yourself. You're looking at what they're putting into your foods and you're making a decision instead of just automatically doing what the manufacturing in our country would prefer that you do, which is just buy and consume.